Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're diving headfirst into something that really shapes our kids in, well, the most profound way, our own behavior as parents.
Yeah,
We're not just talking about the obvious lessons, the stuff we try to teach. We're going right into the neuroscience.
exactly. Looking at how our everyday actions kind of sculpt their developing minds.
Mm,
It's all about the brain's incredible ability to learn just by observing. And, well, as a parent, you're the main model.
you're it.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the research we're digging into today gives us a real peek under the hood of how this actually works.
And we've got some, foundational thinkers who've really shed light on this. Think back to Rizzolotti and his team discovering mirror neurons.
Oh, yeah, 96. That was huge.
Total game changer for understanding imitation. And then there's Porges's polyvagal theory.
From 2011, right. About how our emotional states connect and, influence our kids. Co-regulation.
Exactly. And we'll weave in Siegel's work, too, from The Whole Brain Child, which gives a great view on integration.
Fantastic book.
And Bowlby's pioneering work on attachment and that idea of imprinting way back in '82.
Each one adds a crucial piece.
Yeah.
Rizzolotti gives us the sort of neurological, the mechanics of observational learning.
Right.
While Porges and Siegel really highlight how critical our emotional interactions are for shaping a child's inner world.
And Bowlby laid the groundwork for understanding how those early experiences, well, they build lasting blueprints.
Mental blueprints, yeah.
So for you listening right now, our mission really is to pull out the powerful insights, those like aha moments that might just shift how you see your daily interactions.
And do it without getting totally bogged down in, super
Yeah.
technical stuff. Keep it grounded.
Keep it real. Okay, so let's jump in. This idea of a child's brain being like a sponge.
It's such a vivid analogy,
That
isn't it?
really is.
Because essentially, a young brain is just incredibly receptive to everything around it. And the parent, you're a huge part of that environment.
So it's not just like, do this, don't do that.
Not at all. It's the little things. Your size, the warmth in your voice, how you handle, spilling coffee.
Right. Or the tone you use on a stressful phone call, the way you react when you stub your toe, which I do often.
Oh, me too. Or, yeah, how you greet someone you're happy to see versus maybe someone interrupting dinner.
Their brain is just circling all that in constantly and literally wiring itself based on what it sees.
It's like these internal recorders are running nonstop, picking up everything.
And it's not passive, is it? You said the brain is actively trying to make sense of it all.
Exactly. It's seeking patterns, trying to figure out, okay, how does this world work? How do I navigate it?
So every interaction, every witnessed behavior is like adding another connection to this growing network.
Which shapes how they'll think, feel, and act down the road. Yeah.
Okay, that leads us perfectly to those mirror neurons. You mentioned Rizzolotti. What are they actually doing, especially in our kids' brains as they're just watching us?
Well, picture a brain cell. It fires not only when you reach for, say, a glass of water, but it also fires when you just watch someone else reach for that same glass. That's the core idea.
Wow.
Rizzolotti's work showed we have this built-in system for, understanding and even internally mimicking what others do.
So when my kid sees me tying my shoes or maybe saying thank you to the cashier, those same neurons are firing in their brain. Like they're doing it too.
Essentially, yes. It's
Wow.
like the brain's running a silent practice session, a neural rehearsal.
Okay, that makes sense.
And for kids who are still building their whole behavioral toolkit, these mirrored actions create, well, a neural template, a brain blueprint, as some call it.
So seeing a parent be kind repeatedly actually strengthens the kindness pathways in the child's brain.
Precisely. The pathways for empathy, for helping behavior, they get activated and reinforced.
The flip side must be true too, right? If they're always seeing, say, anger as the response to stress or maybe emotional withdrawal.
Then yes, those patterns are also being mirrored. They can become internalized. The child's brain learns, okay, this is a way, maybe the way, to respond when things get tough.
That's sobering.
It is. And look, this isn't about blame. It's just understanding the profound neurological impact our own reactions have.
Right. It's about awareness. Okay, so the action gets mirrored. Let's shift to the feelings behind the actions. That's where co-regulation comes in. What's the core idea there?
At its heart, co-regulation is how one person's calm, regulated nervous system can actually help someone else, especially a child, regulate their emotions.
Like an emotional tuning fork.
Kind of, or like an emotional dance. When a child is overwhelmed, frustrated, scared, super sad, your calm presence acts like an external anchor. It helps them find their footing emotionally.
So my steady breathing, my soothing tone, maybe just being physically near them, that can actually dial down their internal intensity?
Yes. It's like you're lending them your calm until they can access their own again. And over time, these repeated experiences, having their big feelings met with your steadiness, help them build their own internal tools for self-soothing.
Ah, so they learn through you how to handle it themselves eventually.
Exactly. They learn intense emotions aren't the end of the world, that there are ways to navigate them. That builds resilience. Porges and Siegel really emphasize this.
And the contrast. If a child is mostly around dysregulated emotions, yelling, sarcasm, just that chaotic feeling.
Well, if that's the main emotional weather, their developing nervous system can actually start to see that as normal, as the baseline.
Oh, wow.
They might learn that big emotions just lead to more big emotions, or maybe that connection gets pulled away when they're distressed, and they can really hinder their ability to develop healthy self-regulation skills later on.
This feels like it connects to that idea of imprinting you mentioned earlier. We think of ducks following their mom. How does that apply to us?
Yeah, the animal analogy helps illustrate the sheer power of early repeated exposure. In human terms, thinking about attachment theory, imprinting relates to how those initial experiences create really strong, lasting mental maps
Maps about.
about relationships, about how the world works, about whether others are generally reliable. Bowlby's work was foundational here.
So if a child's early repeated experience is with a parent who's, say, consistently dismissive or emotionally unavailable,
hmm
that creates a kind of default expectation. Like, this is how relationships are.
Precisely. It shapes their internal working models, those core beliefs about, am I worthy of care,
Mm.
and can I depend on others?
And that ties back to those negative emotional patterns. Consistent exposure can really lock those associations in.
Definitely. It's like writing the first few chapters of their relationship story, and those chapters have a long reach.
Now, one thing that really struck me from the material was this distinction. Kids don't just mimic what we do, but how we do it, the nuances. Why is that so important?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. Kids are like little detectives for subtle cues. Tone of voice, facial expressions, body language,
Nonverbal stuff.
all of it. They're not just hearing the words, they're constantly reading how we say them, what our bodies are saying.
That example really hit home, telling your kid, use kind words, but then using sarcasm with your partner right after.
Exactly. The child hears, be kind, but they feel the sting of the sarcasm. They internalize that sharp tone as maybe another valid way to communicate.
So the implicit message overrides the explicit one.
Often, yes. Or think about teaching a child to say sorry, but then as the parent, you never actually apologize sincerely when you mess up.
Right. You just move on.
What does that teach? Not real remorse or accountability. It teaches that sorry is just a word you say to make things smooth over, maybe. An empty ritual.
They learn the script, but not the feeling behind it.
Precisely. And the source material suggests this isn't always conscious hypocrisy, right? We're human. But that disconnect, it's genuinely confusing for kids.
Because they're getting mixed signals about what's okay, what's expected.
Exactly. They hear one thing preached, but see something else modeled. That creates internal conflict, makes it harder to figure out how to act effectively and appropriately.
Okay. So knowing all this, the mirror neurons, the co-regulation, the nuances, what can parents actually do? How can we be more mindful models? The source laid out 4 really practical strategies. Let's go through them. First, labeling your own emotions out loud. Why is that helpful?
Okay, yeah, so saying something like, wow, I'm feeling really frustrated right now because this isn't working. I think I need to take a few deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
That does a couple of key things. First, it models emotional literacy. It shows feelings are normal, everyone has them, and crucially, here are words for them.
Gives them the vocabulary.
Right. And second, it shows a healthy coping strategy in action. They see, okay, when mom-dad feels frustrated, they do this to manage it instead of just, yelling or shutting down.
You're showing them the internal process. Okay, number 2, repairing when you make a mistake. Owning it. What's a value there?
Oh, huge value. Saying something like, I raised my voice earlier and that wasn't fair to you. I was feeling stressed, but that's not okay. I'm working on handling my stress better.
That takes vulnerability.
It does. But it models accountability. It shows everyone messes up, even parents. And more importantly, it shows you take responsibility and you're trying to do better.
Teaches humility, teaches that growth is possible.
And it normalizes imperfection, which is so important for both of you.
Absolutely. Third strategy, modeling problem solving out loud. Like the example, we're out of milk. Okay, instead of getting upset, maybe we make oatmeal instead. Why is narrating that helpful?
It gives kids this amazing window into your thought process. They see that challenges or little roadblocks don't automatically have to lead to a meltdown.
Right.
They see there's a process,
Yeah.
assess the situation, consider options, make a new plan. You're making your internal coping strategies visible.
So they learn how to think through problems.
Exactly. They can internalize that process for their own challenges later.
Demystifies dealing with life's little bumps. Okay, and the fourth practice, consistency. Not perfection, but consistency in modeling. Why is the overall pattern so key?
Because consistency is what really strengthens those neural pathways we talked about.
Yeah.
When a child repeatedly sees a certain response or behavior.
Like calming down instead of yelling.
Right. Those brain pathways become more established, more efficient. It builds a predictable, stable foundation for them. And again, it's not about being perfect 244/7. That's impossible.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. It's about the general trend. The predominant pattern is what shapes the brain over time. Occasional slip-ups happen.
Which leads right into this crucial point about repair and connection. Because slip-ups will happen. All parents have tough moments. What's the takeaway when we inevitably mess up?
The key message is those moments of rupture. They aren't just inevitable, they're actually vital learning opportunities. What matters most, long-term, is your ability and willingness to reconnect afterward.
So the mistake isn't the end of the story.
Not at all. Repairing that connection after a conflict, after you've lost your cool, whatever it is, that teaches an incredibly profound lesson.
Which is?
That relationships can handle bumps.
Oh.
That they can even get stronger after difficulties. It shows kids that love and connection can be restored, that mistakes don't sever the bond.
So it's not about never messing up, but showing them how to mend things when we do.
Exactly. That's such a powerful and reassuring message, isn't it?
It really is.
And often it's in those moments of repair the apology, acknowledging their feelings, offering comfort, that we model some of the most vital life skills. Empathy, forgiveness, taking responsibility.
So just to recap for everyone listening, your everyday actions, your reactions, they're constantly shaping your child's brain through things like mirror neurons, through imprinting those early patterns. Your calm presence helps them learn to regulate their own feelings. That's co-regulation. And leading by example how you handle your emotions, your mistakes, life's challenges, that's absolutely key for their healthy development.
And remember, this isn't about chasing some impossible standard of perfection. Not at all.
No.
It's really about bringing more awareness to the impact you have and making small, conscious choices that align with the skills and values you hope to foster in your child.
Right. So here's a final thought for you to maybe chew on this week. Think about one specific way you typically react in a challenging situation. Maybe it's when you're stressed, maybe it's when your buttons get pushed. Knowing what you know now about modeling, about those brain blueprints, what's just one small, intentional shift you could try to make in that response? Not for instant results, maybe, but as a long-term investment in that blueprint for your child.
It's often those small, consistent shifts that have the biggest ripple effect over time.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.